Hey everyone. In this video, we'll move on to the next topic, that is globalization testing. When an application is developed for multiple languages, and I know only Kannada, English, or Hindi, but I don't know how to test the application which is developed in multiple languages, that is for Japanese, Korean, or Portuguese. In order to do that type of testing, we'll use globalization testing. Developing an application for multiple languages is called globalization, and the testing of such kind of an application it is called as globalization testing. The globalization testing it has been divided into two types, that is internationalization testing and localization testing. Internationalization testing it is also called as I-18N testing. When an application is developed for multiple languages and we want to verify that whether the application content is in the right language, and also we want to check whether the right content is displayed in the right place whenever the user selects the different languages. This process of testing it is called as I-18N testing or internationalization testing. Now, why this internationalization testing it is also called as I-18N testing? The logic is very simple here. In between I and N, that is internationalization, we have 18 letters here. That is the reason it is called as I-18N testing. Now we'll see an example or a scenario of internationalization testing. Now let us assume that you are a Japanese user and you are living in India. Now as a Japanese user, you would prefer to browse or use the apps in the Japanese instead of English. Now you buy a new phone and you want to use the Amazon app. The Amazon app it would be set for English as a default. However, if you set the preferred language to Japanese, all the content switches to Japanese without affecting any functions or offerings. Now, when you change this to Japanese language, it not only changes the language but also the recommendation. It might also change based on the specific preference, occasions, norms, and most in the Japanese culture. All these changes are the results of internationalization efforts and testing. In order to be successful, the sites and apps they account for what users from different cultures wants, and they'll prioritize based on that. Now, as a test engineer, how do you do this globalization testing when you don't know other languages? Whenever the developer develops an application, he will always divide or develop the application into three layers, that is presentation layer, business logic layer, and application layer. In presentation layer, he will develop this using HTML, CSS, or JavaScript languages. When it comes to business logic layer, he will develop the application only in English language, and also he will be creating one more space called property files, where he will keep different languages property files here. Suppose we are developing the application with 10 different languages, then we should have 10 different property files here. Now, who will write these property files here? These property files, it is first written by the developers itself. They'll first write it in English, then the language experts, they'll take these property files and manually they'll write the property files in other languages, and then they'll give it to the developers. Now the developers, they'll take this property file and they'll place it in the server. Based on the user action or selection, respective language property, it will be triggered in the backend. And the user, he will also get the required update in the requested language. As a test engineer, we will have access to the property files. With the help of prefix or suffix, we will check whether the right content is displayed in the right place. Now let's see how these property files they are connected to the coding here using this Java. We have an example here. If language equals English, then connect to en.pf. That means if the language is English, then it should be connected to the English property file. In the same way, elif language equals jp, connect to jp.pf. That means if the language is Japanese, then connect to the Japanese property file. Now let us see how the test engineers they'll check these property files. They'll check for the JavaScript here. That is, if language equals English, connect to English. In the same way, if it is written as if language equals Chinese, then connect to English. If the code is written like that, then there would be a defect. That means if the language equals Chinese connect to English means whenever we select that Chinese language as a preferred language, we will get the display only in English language itself. Then there would be a defect. This is how the test engineers they'll do this internationalization testing. Thank you for watching our video. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of our video or updates. Thank you.